Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. So my name is Nicole Pereira. I'm the program manager of the Business Administration program here in the School of Continuing Studies, and I'll be leading you through today's webinar. And I will turn it over to my co-presenter.
Hi, I'm Diane. I'm a program coordinator in the School of Continuing Studies.
Okay, fantastic. We're very fortunate to have Diane with us here today. You've got a wealth of information here. Okay, so going through today's agenda, we're going to be talking about York as a school. We'll look at the business administration program and the details of how the program runs. We're going to look at two different formats, both online and live online. We'll go through the schedule, how to register, and take your questions. So feel free to type any questions or comments you have as we go through in the questions bar. I promise that I will get to them eventually and try to incorporate them into the presentation. So please do let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the School of Continuing Studies and York University. So York University is the third largest post-secondary institution in the country, founded in 1959. We have a variety of world-class rankings, world-class business school, world-class law school, and the School of Continuing Studies was founded only about 6 years ago for the express purpose of designing and delivering cutting-edge programs that are directly tied to labor market needs, to an evolving workforce and evolving employer demand. So we really pride ourselves on providing really top of the line, fully industry integrated curriculum. A few things about York. We have over 7,000 faculty and staff. We have 53,000 students and over 12,000 international students from all over the world. So a lot of representation at York, both in our student body and in our teachers. So I'd like to run a short poll with everyone just to get to know a bit more about you. So the first question I'd like to ask is, are you interested in the full-time or the part-time program? And this will help me to tailor the webinar to you. I'll just give it a few more seconds. If you could please respond to the poll. Looks like about 71% have voted. Okay, so it looks like we have about 70% of those of you here today are interested in part-time and 31% are interested in full-time. So that's very helpful to know. Thank you so much. So my next question, are you interested in starting the program this September or this January? Okay, it looks like an exact same distribution, about 70% interested in September and 29% interested in January. That's actually pretty incredible. All right, on to the next poll. Are you a domestic or an international student? Okay, great. So we've got about 78% domestic and about 22% international. Thank you, thank you. And last question here. Do you have a background in business? Yes or no? Okay, response is still coming in. Wow. So 53% do have a background in business and 47% do not. So that's really great. We have a very even split there. Thank you so much for participating in that. That's very helpful. So I want to go through what makes York's Business Administration program unique and special. So as you probably already know, we offer this program in different delivery formats, and that allows our students to have maximum flexibility in going through the program and to suit an option that best suits your schedule. So we have a part-time online option that you can take at your own pace, as well as a full-time option. And that allows you to really balance your priorities and focus on what's most important. Secondly, we have instructors entirely from industry. We're extremely, extremely proud of our instructor pool. And if you go on our website, you can look at the instructor bios, and I really encourage you to do so. There's a lot of fantastic instructors that we have working with us. And because our instructors come from industry, they have high-level experience in business, working for well-known companies, big employers, and that allows them to really apply the course concepts and theories that they use every day in their profession as active practitioners to really make the content come alive for you and use real world examples. And this also allows you to make connections and to network with your instructors who have fantastic industry contacts and really allows our curriculum to stay current and the material to be fully abreast of what's going on in the industry. This is a slide that demonstrates to you some of the organizations and employers where our instructors work or have previously worked. So this gives you a good sense of the types of companies that are represented in our instructor pool. So you can see here we have a lot of major banks, major financial institutions, consulting firms, the government, and so on and so forth. So next I want to talk a bit about the condensed format. So both of our formats, both the part-time and the full-time, are in an accelerated format, which means that the programs are shorter than many other programs that are available to you. And this allows you to complete a credential and develop your business skill set in just 8 to 10 months. Next, our curriculum is developed by industry experts. We're very fortunate to have a very robust industry advisory council. And these experts really help to make sure that our key business knowledge and skill areas are covered off through real world industry based projects throughout the program. Here's a few of the organizations where the members of our advisory council work and whom they represent. And then lastly, both of our programs, the part-time and the full-time, are delivered in a cohort model. So what that means is that the same group of students are progressing through the program together from start to end, and this provides a lot of benefits to our students. So firstly, this means that there's stability in the scheduling. So you always know exactly right from the get-go when your courses are going to be. You can plan your life around that, and there's real stability. You know that your courses aren't going to be canceled. The curriculum flows logically and builds from one course to the next. So this really allows us to focus on those really important professional soft skills and to make sure that each course is building on the one that comes before, to make sure that we're really maximizing the skills and competencies that you're developing in the program. It also gives our students great opportunities to build strong connections, friendships, support networks, professional networks, and to arrange study groups in the program, because you'll really get to know each other and build a really strong rapport with each other and network of support. So who are our students? Our students are all types of different people in all different stages of their career. So we have individuals who are starting out their career. We have students who are looking to change careers. We have a lot of students who are either new managers or aspiring to be promoted into a managerial role, people who are in the field and working in business and want to hone and develop their skill set. So all kinds of different students at different phases of their career, which really gives you maximum networking benefit. So I want to take a moment just to compare the programs, both the part-time and the full-time delivery model. So as you can see, the online program is shorter by 3 courses. It consists of 5 courses, whereas the full-time, it says in person, but now live online, consists of 8 courses. So it is a bit longer in terms of the content, and it offers the business fundamentals, business communications, and the capstone course, which is essentially a course that ties together the learnings in all of the previous courses through hands-on industry-based projects. So to elaborate a bit further, in the part-time program, this is a direct or open enrollment program. So you can go onto the website, you can identify that this is the right program for you, and you can enroll yourself directly into the program. There isn't an application process required. And at the end of the program, you will receive a certificate. I've put some stars beside the project management course because in the part-time program, the project management course is shorter. It's about 4 weeks long, whereas in the full-time program, it is a full 39-hour course. In the in-person or live online, currently with COVID, or full-time program, this program does require an application. And it's important to note that it is a competitive entry program. So every time we run the program, we get significantly more applications than we have spots in the program. So it is important to really put your best foot forward and put in a strong application. For the live online full-time certificate, you do require a prior degree or diploma, and you will need to submit your transcript. You also need to bring a language score of an IELTS 6.0 minimum or Duolingo 115, which we're now accepting because of the pandemic. Now, I would recommend if you are able to get a language score that is higher than 6.0, more like a 6.5, a 7 or above, the chances of getting into the program are significantly enhanced. So that can be a way to strengthen your application. Now, the full-time program will result in a postgraduate certificate, which simply means that it is, again, postgraduate. So it means that you do have a prior degree or diploma. So let's look at a sample schedule for the in-person, now live online, full-time schedule. So our full-time program, there are classes running 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, with no classes scheduled on Fridays. And each course lasts for 6.5 weeks, which amounts to a total of 13 individual sessions. The classes are held in 3-hour blocks twice per week. So a total of 6 hours per course per week. So if you look at the schedule, you can see as a sample, you have marketing fundamentals on Mondays and Wednesdays and business strategy on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So as I've been saying, because of COVID-19, all the courses are running live online via Zoom, and that's happening between September and April. And none of the postgraduate work permit will not be impacted with the courses being delivered online. So in this format, you're interacting with your instructor and your peers in real time. The classes are still scheduled at the same time each day as per the schedule that we've just gone through. So you're interacting with your peers, with your instructor, you're working in small groups, you're in lecture, there's interactivity and engagement and so on. So let's move on to a sample online schedule. So in the online program offering, this is a program where you can take the course at your own pace. So you do not need to meet at a particular day and time. You can go in and out of the course whenever you feel like it, whether it's 7 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. And it's very self-paced and self-directed. So as a sample, here you can see, reading the textbook and online articles for 2.5 hours on Sunday, participating in online discussions and completing practice activities for a couple hours on Wednesday. In this format, you're taking one course at a time, and you can complete your work at a time and day that works best for you. So here we've got both formats side by side, so you can see the major differences. So in the live online, you've got a live instructor and your classmates all on Zoom together, where it's the class is being facilitated in real time, whereas online, it is instructor facilitated and you do have an instructor who's taking you through the course, but it's not live. In live online, you're looking at about 12 hours of in-class time per week, whereas online, you're looking at about 8 to 10 hours of effort each week. In live online, you're doing 2 courses at a time, whereas online, you're doing 1 course at a time. Live online is a bit faster to complete, although it is a longer program because it again, is full-time. So you finish that program in about 8 months. Online is about 10 months, so still quite fast. And both courses and both programs are based with assignments and assessments that are very practical and applied to industry. So I want to stop and make a quick note here just about how we do our exams. So I know there's been a lot of questions about exams since the schools have moved to online learning. We don't use Examity or any other online proctoring service. All of our exams and midterms are open book, non-proctored. Now, most of our courses do not have textbooks and do not have exams. They do have textbooks. Most courses do not have exams and they do not have midterms. A lot of the coursework is things like industry projects, group work, presentations, discussion boards, reflections, and so on and so forth. There are a few courses that have exams and midterms, but as I mentioned, those will be non-proctored. Okay, so I'm going to pause there and just see, it looks like there are some questions coming in. So I just want to take a look. Is there a prerequisite for the online program? So Lindsay, there is not a prerequisite for the online offering, although we do recommend for all continuing studies programs that the students bring a prior degree or diploma. Now that said, you can self-select, so you do not need to have that to register and to take the program, but we do advise it. Typically, the certificates are, really best applied with prior foundational knowledge and education, and that's how you can get the most marketability out of our programs in the labor market. I'm going to try to do something very dangerous here and take you through our website. But before I do that, I do want to pull up this slide. This slide has for you basically all the information you need for next steps. So it has the York School of Continuing Studies website at continue.yorku.ca. Michael Kasiba is our Continuing Studies advisor, and you can reach him at continue@yorku.ca. He's happy to answer any questions you may have about the program. Donna Kahn is our registration coordinator. You can reach her at regscs@yorku.ca. Now, another item, just to be very mindful of, is if you're an international student and you have questions about study permits, immigration-related questions, York International is really the best place to direct your questions to, and they can be reached at iadvisor@yorku.ca. So I'm going to put that in the chat for everyone. Okay, we have a few more questions. Let me just see here. So this question is more or less about transfer credits. So if you're coming from a program where you've taken the same or very similar programs, you might be eligible for a transfer credit. Transfer credits need to be about 85 to 90% overlapping in terms of the content that you learned. They need to be no shorter than 39 hours in length. And to apply for a transfer credit, you will need to submit to the registration team, so at regscs. You will submit your transcript so we know the grade that you achieved in the course. You'll need to submit a transfer credit application form and also a full course outline for the course that you would like to be counted towards transfer credit. Now, you need to have a grade of no less than a B, so no less than 70% in a course for it to be counted for a transfer credit, and you can only receive a maximum of 1 transfer credit. So with that said, I'm going to try to take you through the SCS website. Is the open book exam at the end of the term? Sorry, that's the next question coming in. So the courses, as you've seen, we don't really operate in traditional terms. We have, because our programs are accelerated, in the full-time program, you're doing 2 courses at a time over a period of 6.5 weeks. So as an example, you would have like your midterm typically at the halfway point of a course. So that would be in maybe week 3 or 4. And if you were going to have a final exam, it would be at the end of the course. So at the 6.5 week mark. Okay, so let's go through, let's see if you can see this okay. We're going to go to York School of Continuing Studies. So let's go down here to, if you can see my screen, we're going to York School of Continuing Studies certificate programs. And we're going to scroll down until we get to business. So let's start with the postgraduate certificate in business administration. So this is the full-time program. Now here on the main page of the postgraduate certificate in business administration, if you scroll down, you can learn more about the program. And here, this is just a point of interest. This is where you can learn more about transfer credits, if that's of interest to you. You can learn about our instructor pool. So here are our instructors here. You can read a bit about their backgrounds, their expertise, their credentials. So there's a lot of information here for you to check out. And then below that, we have program policies. So this is a good place to look as well, right here, program policies. When you're ready to enroll, scroll back up to the top and click here on enroll. And you can see there's different tabs here for domestic and international for the full-time program. Now, if we go back and we go into the certificate in business administration online, this is the part-time offering. Basically, same rules apply. This is where you would enroll. As you can see, we have the September offering, which starts in just a few weeks, and the January offering. And then same here, if you want to scroll down, you can learn more about this program. You can see all the important tabs here. You can learn about the instructors. So lots of information available here for you. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the questions here. So can you fast track a course? Lindsay, I don't think that you can fast track a course. I might pass this over to my co-presenter, Diane. I'm just trying to think. Could you fast track, Diane, the online part-time program and maybe straddle 2 cohorts and take 2 courses at a time? You would not be able to fast track the full-time programs. Sorry, Diane, go ahead.
That's something we don't do. We have a cohort model, so you can essentially create a network of people like in the field, essentially. So we do not allow students to take multiple cohorts at a time.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Okay, perfect. So the next question is, once we complete a course, is there a way to get a copy of a transcript, or do we get a copy when we are finished the certificate? So my understanding is that you can get a copy of your grades as you go from the registration department. And I believe that you would just email regscs@yorku.ca. Diane, are you able to speak to that in more detail?
Yes. So when you complete a course, you can request a letter of completion for that course. Yeah, and you can just email the reg team.
So what are the job prospects after the business administration program? Business, in my opinion, is arguably the broadest educational program one can choose, because business applies to everything. Business even applies to the non-business sectors like government, like the nonprofit or charitable sector. Everyone needs to have at least a basic understanding of business principles to be successful in today's workforce. So for myself, when I was looking at what I wanted to go back to school to take, I decided that a master's in business administration would be the most broadly applicable. So in my opinion, getting education and training in business can literally be applied to any industry, to any field, to any profession, and it's never going to hurt you. It's always going to help you. It will be relevant to literally any job you can find. Are you informed right away when registering which textbooks are needed for all courses? So you're not informed right away upon registration, but you will be informed in a welcome email. And the welcome email will tell you exactly which textbooks you need for which courses. It will tell you which version of the textbooks that you need. Diane, do you want to elaborate further on that and when exactly the welcome email will go out?
Sure. The welcome email is sent out 1 to 2 weeks prior to the start of the program, and it has essentially everything you need to start the program. So it does have the list of textbooks. It has the several accounts. So you're going to have 2 accounts. One is your student account and one is a Passport York. It'll contain that information to create those accounts. It will also have information on how to purchase textbooks, and it will give you access to our orientation website, which has a lot of information on it as well. So orientation website will have things like our student handbook. In terms of the textbooks, we do suggest that students in the online program maybe not purchase their textbook all at once, because it's a longer program, so there's a potential that a textbook edition could change. For the full-time program, it's okay to purchase it all at once because it's an 8-month program, and usually textbooks don't change that quickly.
Okay, great. So next question is, for the part-time program, is it 5 courses in total? That's correct, Oren. It is 5 courses in total for part-time. Okay, so Lucy is asking if you can buy downloadable books. Yep. From my understanding, the textbooks are all available in an online version. Is that correct, Diane?
That is correct. Most of our textbooks are available online. However, typically when you buy textbooks like the online version, it's just a rental for a certain amount of time, but it's a lot cheaper. Sometimes a textbook is maybe like over $100, and if you just rent it for the duration of your course, or let's say 100 days, it's about $45.
Yeah, and to answer the other part of your question, not every single course will require a textbook, but be prepared just in case in the event that there is a required textbook in all courses. But typically you will have some courses where a textbook is not required.
For some of our courses, we do have open source textbooks, which are free for about 2 of our courses in the online program.
So Jamie's asking if there's any difference in the full-time and part-time programs with regards to employability afterwards. Is one held to a higher regard than the other? So that's a great question. And there isn't an easy answer to it, which I know is very frustrating. Employers, for the most part, don't necessarily weigh the difference between a postgraduate certificate and a certificate. Typically, the full-time program, the postgraduate certificate, is better suited in some respects for individuals who are earlier in their career, maybe who have a bit less experience and exposure to business. Maybe you don't have very much or any prior professional experience, because as you can see from the previous from the slide that we looked at previously, the full-time program has a business communications course and a business fundamentals course, which is missing from the the part-time certificate. So that foundational kind of business fundamentals course provides you with more of the basics. And the business communications course is a great course, especially for students who do not speak English as a first language. So that can be really, really beneficial. So no, one is not necessarily in a higher regard than the other. You know, the postgraduate certificate, that name does represent that. You know, there is an application process that you are required to have. And so all your peers in the class will have a prior degree or diploma. So when exactly do we get to create our York email account? Diane, could you take that question?
Yeah, not a problem. So 1 to 2 weeks prior to the start of the program, you'll get all the information to create the account in the welcome email. So the email account is actually the Passport York as well. It's just one account that you could use to access your email and other services at York. So for example, if you, and even like not just online students, but full-time students as well, if you want to access our databases with our library, with our online resources, you can definitely use your Passport York to log into our libraries with our online databases.
So Rose is wondering if students need to be concerned at all with the availability of textbooks. So I'm assuming what she's referring to is like the stock of textbooks in the bookstore or available through other retailers.
I honestly don't think students need to be concerned with availability. If it's not available in our bookstore, which it most likely is, but let's say it's not, you can definitely purchase it wherever it is available. It will probably be on Amazon, but it most definitely will be on the publisher's website, and you can purchase it directly from them as well.
Okay, great. So Jamie, who is in Manitoba, it does not sound like you will have any problems whatsoever in getting the required resources for your courses for the part-time program. Are there any other questions before we close out for today? Okay, so what if your students already have a York University email and they're returning to postgraduate studies? Diane, will their email stay the same as what they had before?
I think so. I think so. And I think your student number will carry over as well.
Okay, so if you have any further questions and want to know more about the program, I definitely encourage you to reach out to Michael. His information should be back up on your screen. You can reach him at continue@yorku.ca. So, and he would be happy to connect with you online, by phone, and you can also learn more at our website at continue.yorku.ca. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And yeah, I hope to see you at least virtually at York in the next few weeks or months. So have a great rest of your day, and thank you again.